Hello, welcome to HITC Sport. I am the Irish guy, and did everyone watch Match of the Day then? I mean, if you're not a Manchester City fan, I'm guessing you felt like ripping off your nostrils with a fork. I mean, how? How is this not a penalty? How is this not a handball? Somebody in the VAR studio, please come out and justify your decisions. Because I'm sorry, unless it was a panel featuring Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles, you've got absolutely no excuse. Listen, Manchester City travelled to Everton, and it was a typically tough game. I mean, clearly Rafa Benitez had about as much influence on these Everton footballers as Tropicana has on an old person's bowels. You know, not much effect at all. Frank Lampard has came in and clearly done something, because for once, this was a committed, proper Everton performance. Christ love, if Richarlison didn't currently have the goal-scoring confidence of a depressed bunny rabbit, the Toffees would have been 2-0 up at half-time. If I was a Manchester City fan watching this, it would have been torture. Like sitting through all 3 Human Centipede films with your mum. I mean, you know you need to win every single match. I mean, if you don't, the Liverpool will capitalise and win the damn league. So struggling against a back four consisting of the likes of Michael Keane and elderly Seamus Coleman and John Joe Kenny, I mean, the latter is football's answer to a sneeze, I'm guessing your stomach was probably doing cartwheels in your chest, right? You were lucky, so lucky to snatch the winning goal with 8 minutes left. I mean, when the Everton centre-back suddenly showed the balance, artistry and grace of Seth Rogen doing ballet. Honestly, it was like watching 2 hippos trip over their own feet at the zoo. But to be fair, Foden nipped in and scored arguably the biggest goal of the season for Man City. And 2 minutes later, and Rodri is doing this. Unchallenged, nobody else around him, and he's trying to control a bouncing ball with his bicep. I'm guessing it was a moment where the Spaniard clearly left his brain on the coffee table, but still, I don't care. I don't care if this was a lapse in concentration, and in that split second he was daydreaming about an episode of Malcolm in the Middle. No, that's a handball. It's rare to find one moment which devastates the entire city of Liverpool, but that was it. And lads, trust me, this would have shoved a fork down the throat of Manchester City's title challenge. Lads, to put it in context, Michael Richards is a man who bleeds blue, right? And that's not just because he eats more biscuits than the Cookie Monster. No, he's City through and through, and even he thinks it's ridiculous this wasn't a penalty. Rodri, as soon as he did it, he bore the same facial expression of a teenage babysitter trying to explain why she fed dog food to the 9-year-old boy. You know, just guilt etched all over his face. Don't you tell me these City players weren't laughing about this decision on the bus ride back to Manchester. They'll all have been cackling like banshees watching Jimmy Carr. It was brutal, and I'm sorry. If this title race comes down to goal difference or just a singular point, you can pinpoint this decision as the reason why Liverpool don't have their second Premier League title. And that would be a travesty. Honestly, this is inexcusable. It's a farce, an absolute joke. Leeds 0, Tottenham 4. Marcelo Bielsa right now is about as stubborn as my nan. You know, the one who refuses to go to a nursing home, despite the fact she keeps trying to make toast in the bath and keeps trying to shoot the neighbor's children with a BB gun. Ozzy, Bielsa's being sacked, and it's just sad. I thought it was tragic when we saw Arsene Wenger fall on his sword, but this is the death of a footballing legend. And don't forget, this man isn't just any relegation-threatened coach in his 60s. No, he's not the RG Steve Bruce, where you can gladly stuff him in a bin bag halfway through the season without hurting your conscience. No, this man is one of the most brilliant minds in football. This is like some company in Yorkshire sacking Galileo. It's like Ryanair refusing to give a job in reception to one of the Wright brothers. This man was the inspirational for Pep Guardiola, and 5 years ago, Leeds United were being coached by Gary Monk. So when you have such a king of football tactics at your club, that comes with a huge responsibility. You know, don't copy the Arsenal fans, and don't treat him as if this was just Mark Hughes in the dugout. Ozzy, this is a man who deserves to be worshipped, and it's just a bit weird that Leeds United are sacking him whilst having a street in the city named after him. Make no mistake about it, this man is an Ellen Road icon. Probably single-handedly the most important figure of this club since Don Revie. Come on, how did Leeds manage to convince him to take Paul Heckingbottom's job 3 years ago? Sitting in a sweaty, depressed dugout, which probably smelt of sugary, sweaty tear stains going all the way back to 2004. I mean, 3 years ago they were stuffed 13th in the championship with Vernon and Anita in midfield and having to rely on a goddamn kitchen mop like Kemar Roof up front. The job he's done is incredible, but I'm sorry, you also can't cheat your eyes. And I'm sure Leeds fans watching their team defend this season, it's a bit like buying a ticket to watch your stepdad's OnlyFans. No thanks. You've conceded 60 league goals this season. That's only 19 less than Derby County conceded in the entirety of their 07-08 campaign. You know, when they put just 11 points and 1 win on the board, and we're losing 6-0 every week. Honestly, right now, a few weeks ago, I tipped Ilan Meslier to one day be France's #1 at the World Cup. Well, I hope he gets about 32 hours of weekly therapy before then, because lads, there's a man who looks barely old enough to buy cider in a shop, and he's conceded 20 goals in 5 games. I'm sorry, but surely that is traumatizing. I mean, next time he steps onto a football pitch at Leicester City away, he's gonna feel more exposed than me and my Uncle Shed. Honestly, do you really think he can trust his defense again after this? These players are about as reliable as a bowl of cornflakes spiked with elephant laxatives. I mean, you don't know whether you're going to have a nice nutritional breakfast or if you're going to be vomiting chunks of your own teeth onto the carpet. These high-pressing Bielsa kamikaze tactics, yeah, they worked well last season when you had, attacking talent to score goals at the other end of the pitch. But no, this season, 29 goals scored is a feeble effort. And I'm guessing Rafinha, he must be done with this Leeds project. I mean, this is a new Brazilian superstar. Watching his team concede 10 times since Wednesday. No, I'm pretty sure he'd rather chew in a stapler than sign up for another season of this utter wet dross. This is a sad end for Bielsa. If he just left last season with his head held high, then he could have bowed out as a revered football legend, instead of scuttling out the door before March after being accused of having the tactics of a brain-dead chimp. I mean, let's be honest, this was a horrendous managerial run. Because in his last job, this is a guy who only lasted just 6 months before getting the chop at Lille, and before that he had quit after just 2 days as Lazio manager, and before that resigned after just a year at Marseille. The last truly flawless job this guy did was at Athletic Bilbao, and even then he was moved out the back door in the summer of 2013 after finishing 12th in La Liga and being dumped out of Europe by Sparta Prague. Surely he has to retire. Just give it up, Marcelo. Because these naive, attack-minded tactics, sure, they might have had longevity in the 2000s. They might also work if you had a multi-million-pound defense. Sure, if you've got Aymeric Laporte and Virgil van Dijk at the back, knock yourself out. Go take the game to the opposition. Go one-on-one with Harry Kane. But I'm sorry, when you've got wet dog food like Luke Ayling and Pascal Struijk in your defense, then please just stop it. It's just sad that Bielsa's career has come to an end like this. Getting sacked by Leeds, but it had to be done. I think it's clear he wasn't going to sign up for another season of championship football. I mean, he's nearly 70 years old. The last thing he wants to do is spend his Tuesday nights trying to outwit the likes of Wigan and Hull. So if Leeds did just show blind loyalty to Bielsa and saw these naive tactics send you down, then he was just going to walk away anyway and leave you in the hands of, I don't know, Jonathan Woodgate or Lee Boyer. I mean, does that sound like fun? No, you'd sooner bite off your own chin. Brentford 0, Newcastle 2. Another team who need to sack their coach is Brentford FC. I'm sorry, but am I the only one who sees there's nothing special about Thomas Frank? I mean, what am I really supposed to be impressed by? I mean, surely he was the boss of Brøndby for a couple of years and was given Scandinavian goal machines like Teemu Pukki and Johan Elmander, with a born leader like Daniel Agger at the back, and current Bayer Leverkusen #1 Lucas Hradecky in goal. He failed to win the league and failed to get past the Europa League qualifying rounds.
Brøndby coach Thomas Frank quit after chairman's online forum criticism.
Yeah, the reason he left is because his own boss was sneaking onto a fans forum and using a pseudonym and his son's account to slag off the coach he employs. So okay, Frank goes to Brentford to be part of Dean Smith's backroom staff and was given important job duties like, I don't know, scrubbing the dressing room urinals and setting out cookies in the canteen. And let's not forget, when he finally did take Dean Smith's job, he won only 1 of his first 10 league games. Wasn't really much of a manager bounce. Listen, getting them promoted last season was good, but playoffs are always a lottery. And don't forget, they bottled the previous season, chucking away automatic promotion after losing at home to Barnsley on the last day. I remember because there was a Pontus Jansson 2 at stake. Ozzy, the job that Brentford have done, it is good. But let's be honest, all the foundations were already laid there by the current QPR boss. This guy isn't the next visionary. No, he's the Danish Paul Jewell. And the only reason you're in the Premier League is because Ivan Toney caught fire last season. I'm sorry, it's not exactly hard to get promoted when you've got a centre forward scoring nearly 40 goals a season. Isn't that right, Fulham? But at 1 point from your last available 24, 9 defeats from your last 11 Premier League games, how is he still in a job? Listen, this was a must-win game against a relegation rival. And yet, Josh Da Silva chooses to then stamp on Matt Target and collect a brainless red card. Joe Linton then smacks home a header before Joe Willock scores a breakaway counter-attack goal. The Geordies go wild, but honestly, the Bees, whatever Frank is doing, it's not working. You need to get rid. Ozzy, dump him at the local job centre and go and get Ronald Coleman. I mean, his reputation is lying face down in a wheelie bin, so offer him a short-term Premier League gig until May. Allow him the chance to use Christian Eriksen, and who knows, he might see that as a lifeline for his managerial career. But Thomas Frank, he's so out of his depth, and you're going down. Man United 0, Watford 0. You would think a goalless draw at home to the team 19th in the Premier League is horrific, right? And yeah, it is. This result is utter wet garbage. But the performance wasn't. Man United should have won this game 3-0. They had 22 shots against Watford, and yet just 3 of them were on target. Both Bruno Fernandes and Cristiano Ronaldo, they probably spent Saturday night grinding their teeth on the couch, trying to wind down and relax by watching I don't know, the Simpsons movie. But honestly, they shouldn't be able to sleep after that. Chance after chance created, chance after chance wasted, but the most unforgivable one, Man United put together a brilliant team move. All Bruno needs to do here is just pass the ball across the box for Ronaldo tap in. And he chooses to selfishly shoot instead. In that moment, Ronaldo must have felt like shoving a pencil in his eye. Crystal Palace 1, Burnley 1. Yes, brilliant result for Burnley here. It's weird. They're currently 18th in the league, but they're probably the most relaxed they've ever been about a relegation battle. Honestly, aside from Newcastle, Burnley are the form team in the relegation dogfight. I know they're currently 18th, but look at the games at hand. Sean Dyche, he solidified their defence with the big game changer, replacing Chris Wood, who, let's be honest, has been an underperforming lump of donkey meat this season for 2 clubs now. And yet, Wout Weghorst, he's a bona fide goal scorer, a European hotshot, the modern day Kevin Karani or Klaus-Jan Huntelaar. And he's somehow at Burnley. For a team like Burnley, any point away from home in the Premier League is a great result. So, Dyche, well done. You really have steadied the ship, and once again, you've proven you're the perfect man for the job. Brighton 0, Aston Villa 2. Yeah, decent win for Aston Villa here. Travelling to Brighton and coming away with a 2-goal win, courtesy of goals from Matty Cash and Ollie Watkins. I mean, Steven Gerrard needed that win, and they got it. But as for Brighton, for the last 3 games, 10 goals conceded, 0 goals scored. They won 1 match at home in 5 months. And you want to tell me that Graham Potter is a tactical genius? I will die on this hill. He's the most overrated coach on planet Earth. Stand up to 2, Norwich 0. Norwich are down. I'm sorry, I know there was a brief mini revival under Dean Smith, but they're just done. They're not coming back from this. Look at the table. They're back at the bottom and getting left adrift again. It was a nice little managerial bounce Dean Smith had. They put together a run of a nice couple of wins, but again, these players are not good enough for the Premier League, and the next time Norwich come up, are the fans even going to be excited? You're just in for another 9 months of utter misery. You know, like anyone pregnant with octuplets. It's just a bit sad. Anyway, that's what it is. What do you think? Alright, let me know what do you think about the handball, the Bielsa sacking, all of it. Let me know if you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe as always. I'll talk to you in a while.